Hello everybody, it's Kimberly here. Here today to show you a few of my favorite restorative yoga poses, ones that you can do with the props you have in your own home. So the idea with restorative yoga is that we're using props to support our bodies to come into the most possible comfortable position with a little bit of support from cushions, maybe a little bit of ease and opening in different places with the body, and then to rest there and soften there and just allow time and gravity to do the work. The hope with our restorative practice is that we can tap into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and relax response in our bodies, which is particularly useful in times of high stress. So I'll show you 4 of my favorite poses that you can do today at home. Ideally, you might hold them for 4, 5, 10, 15 minutes each. Today I'll just show you each of them. We'll get a little bit comfortable, and then it's something you could play with on your own at home. So for props, I've got today just a regular pillow from my bed. I have an extra yoga mat. If you don't have one of those, an extra blanket or pillow would do as well. I have a bathroom towel, and I have a throw blanket just from my couch. So for our first shape that we're going to come into, we're going to take either our yoga mat, our blanket, or our towel, and we're going to put it alongside the top of our mat. Now, which prop you choose is going to depend entirely on your body and how different things feel. So you might need to play around a little bit. So you're either going to roll up a towel or take your rolled up yoga mat and just place it across the top of your mat. We're going to keep the pillow toward the bottom of our mat, and I might keep my blanket and towel handy in case I get cool or want to use it to support my head and neck. So I'm going to come to lay down so that my rolled up towel or my yoga mat ends up falling right underneath of the shoulder blades. And I want my shoulders to be able to relax onto the ground behind me, and I want to be able to relax my arms out to either side. I'm going to fiddle around with the pillow down by my knees so that it's nice and supportive. I'm going to make sure that my body is warm, and then I'm going to start to soften into this shape. If any part of this feels like a little bit too much, you can be playful. Try sliding your prop up or down. Try taking your blanket or your towel and putting it behind your head. You're just looking to feel a nice ease and opening through the chest, through the arms, where you can soften and release tension in your body. When you find that place for yourself, just connect with the rhythm of your own breath. For your own practice, you might find it helpful to use a timer or to just focus on your own breath, maybe to a count of 20 or 30 slow breaths. From time to time, you'll notice that your mind wanders. You'll notice that that's happening. And then you just come back to softening and to bringing the awareness to the breath. Okay. So for our next shape, after that chest opener, we're going to come into a supported child's pose. And there's all sorts of different ways that we can make our supported child's pose as comfortable as possible. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up so that my knees are quite wide and my feet are together on my mat. And some people might find that this extension in their ankles or this deep flexion in their knees isn't comfortable. So some things you can play with there are you can take your blanket or your towel and just softly make a little roll with it. I'm going to place that along the back of my mat and put my ankles over top of it. And then you can see there that my ankles aren't going to be in quite as much extension. An alternative there, if it's not your ankles that bother you, if you find it's your knees, is to take your folded blanket and put it between your seat and your heels. And that's going to just decrease the pressure a little bit in your knees. From there, I'm gonna pull my pillow in close to me. And I know that I like a really high supported child's pose, so I might even double up. I'm gonna put my yoga mat underneath my pillow. You might find that that's too much for your body or not enough, so you can play around there. And then from there, I'm gonna relax forward, and I have some choices. I can rest my head to one side. I can gather up my props underneath of me and give them a little hug and rest my head to one side. Or I can do either of those things with my head resting forward or down, or of course to the other side. So like in our last pose, what you're looking for is ease and comfort. So once you find that ease and comfort, we settle into the shape. You can close your eyes and start taking some slow, soft, and easy breaths. Once you ease yourself out of this pose, you can move your props out of the way. And sometimes it feels good to strengthen and lengthen your legs a little bit after having them bent there. So it might feel nice to reach back, stretch out one leg and then the other. Alternatively, it might feel nice to come to downward facing dog. When you're feeling ready, we'll come to our next shape, which will be a supported side lying pose. And for this shape, I know that I want something for my head near the top of my mat, so I'm gonna leave my towel there. I'm also gonna want my pillow alongside me. I'm gonna move it for now just so you can see how I set up my body. And then you might wanna keep an extra blanket handy in case your body starts to cool off here. So I'm gonna come to lay on my right side, and I'm gonna lengthen my right leg out. I'm gonna extend my right arm out in front of me, and I'm gonna tuck the blanket or the towel underneath my head so that my neck is in line with the rest of my spine. Then I'm gonna take my left leg on top of my pillow. If you find that that's not quite high enough, feel free to prop it up. So you could use your extra towel, your extra pillow, or your extra yoga mat to make that a little bit higher for your body. From there, you can choose what to do with your left arm. You can relax it in front of you. You can relax it onto your hip, or some people might like the way that it feels to lengthen it overhead and get a little bit of an extra side stretch through the left side body. So once you find the right place for your body, again, you soften. Notice what the breath feels like in the body. And notice when the mind is wandering, where it's going, just making a note of it. And then coming right back to your next breath. So this is, of course, a two-sided pose. So once you've done the one side, you're going to want to roll over and try the other side. So we're going to finish today in my favorite pose, which I often affectionately call the Cleopatra. So for this pose, what we're going to want to do is make a little ramp for our upper bodies. So to make a little ramp, I'm going to use my yoga mat. You could also use your rolled towel for that. And I'm going to put my other towel up at the top so that you can see that I've made a little inclined plane for myself here. I'm going to keep my pillow handy. I'm going to put it down so that it catches my knees. And then just because I know I want this to be a little bit extra soft, I'm going to take my blanket, I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to lay it over top of this whole thing. so that it feels nice and soft underneath of my body. I'm going to come to sit back so that my hips are right close to where my inclined plane starts, and yours can be higher or lower than mine. Before I relax back, I'm going to make sure that my knees are supported by my pillow, and then I'm going to lean back onto this inclined plane that I've created for myself. You want to make sure as you lay in this shape that you feel supported from the bottom of your spine all the way to the top. So sometimes, depending on the props that you're using, you might find it collapses a little bit in your low back. And so if you find that that's the case, you can put a second towel underneath of whatever you're using to make that ramp for yourself. So you feel supported from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. And again, we'll bring our hands out to either side. Alternatively, you can take your hands to your belly, or one hand to your belly and one to your chest. And just check in with some slow, deep, and easy breaths here. As your body relaxes through our different restorative poses today, you might notice your mind wandering. You might also notice that you fall asleep, and both of those things are okay. It's normal for your mind to wander, and it's normal when your body needs rest to fall asleep. So what we're practicing today, not only is our restorative movement, is looking to connect with our deep relaxation, with our parasympathetic nervous system, but just practicing with a touch of compassion. And just knowing that whatever is going on in your body right now, it's okay. So those are just a few of my favorites. If there's anything else you'd like to see or recreate and you're not sure how you can recreate that on your own, please let me know, and I can show you the way that you can use different props at home to create some really nice and comfortable restorative poses for your body. Please be well. And we'll finish our practice together as we always do, with our hands at heart center. Taking a moment of gratitude to yourself for carving time out of your busy day and your stressful day to give yourself some quiet time and attention. Being grateful to your body for all of the different ways that it allowed you to move today. And then being grateful to everybody else all around this world practicing in community with you, from the self-isolation of their own homes. May there be peace in our minds, peace in our bodies, and peace in our community. Thank you all so very much for practicing with me today.